residue, exhaust emission for the air pollution. Is it very important? Not only the maritime connectivity, we also have to maintain the environment from ship regarding to the three the group of the pollution source. And you see here, so for example, in the South China Sea and ASEAN, is it China and ASEAN member country are in the top 10 place of the marine debris in the world. Most of them is the plastic debris discharged into the coastal and marine waters. China is in the first position, Indonesia second, Philippines 3, Vietnam 4th, Thailand 5, and Malaysia 6, etc. And so on. Plastic also in the region and the world towards the year 2025. So 1 ton of the plastic needs debris for every 3 tons of fish, and until the 2015, more plastics than fish, if we have no solution. Is it in the map you see here? So very important for the blue economy. And here in the Bay of Vietnam, you see in the coastal mangrove with plastic litter, very dangerous, and the dust, you know, so mangrove and the coal and the beach. And here you see, so the way of the marine debris discarded directly from ship landings in the fishing ship vessel and navigation vessel, and from sea based on the shipping activity on the sea, and from domestic waste and from the sewage system from land-based shore to the sea. And here you see, so the people discharge the waste, and now the people also to earn 6 earning in the marine lit ground and have some treated some very simply for marine lit on the beach. And other challenges, I think, very important. Is it the Chinese dream in this area, and also the one road, one belt, and the 9-9 and marine sea road from China, and channel designation, for example. And so maybe there is a concern also in the South China Sea that China may seek to impose an air defense identification zone, IDIZ, and destroy coral reef in Spratnia and Paracel since the year 2014 to year 2006 for a man-made island in the South China Sea, which impact to the maritime connectivity and blue economy. It is a very big question for our cooperation between the India and ASEAN maritime connectivity in the context of the conflict claim and activity from China in the region. So to challenge it to the ASEAN-India maritime connectivity, besides of the regional advantage, the ASEAN-India maritime connectivity are facing with also in ASEAN there are some 536 seaports, among them only Singapore port is largest in the world. The seaport, the infrastructure is very different between the ASEAN member country, and most of which are backwards and which low efficient and of the utilization. Investment capacity to improve the seaport infrastructure is limited. Logistics have been applied unwidely and ineffectively. The existing route through Malacca Strait is heavily congested and relatively unsafe. In the maritime connectivity with the Southeast and East Asia, which is at present is a very initial state of development, may appear to be a great facilitator of the Pan-Asian integration. Only a few ports of the India and the ASEAN are directly connected by the shipping line. A large number of ports in India and ASEAN are not yet to be connected. So India on On the other hand, should strongly collaborative with the ASEAN member country in implementing the commitment of the maritime connectivity. On the other hand, as India should be ready to compete with the China Oceanic Strategy Initiative and the very long-term challenges I talked a moment before. ASEAN-India effort in the maritime connectivity. In 25-year ASEAN-India dialogue relationship, the India support ASEAN centrally in the involving regional architecture and its continued contribution to the regional peace, security, and prosperity and ASEAN integration and ASEAN community building process is very important. In the past year, there were a lot of effort from both sides, ASEAN and DD, regarding to the maritime connectivity, and some plan of action to implement the ASEAN-India partnership for peace, progress, and shared prosperity have been implemented during the year 2010 to 15, and now year 2016 to year 2020. And also the recently, so head of state government of the ASEAN member country and India in New Delhi have approved Delhi declaration of the ASEAN-India commemorative summit to mark up 25 anniversary of the ASEAN-India dialogue relationship with statement shared value and common destiny. So also we have some other, therefore in the context of blue economy, besides the enhancement of the maritime connectivity, such as the development of the port, building the connectivity between the island, facilitating maritime logistics, so on, and cooperation have to be based respectability of the environmental protection, maintaining coastal and marine natural resource assets, and cleaner technology, and a strongly maritime connectivity within India and ASEAN will enhance the connectivity among various economic corridors between the two regions. So you see here in the case of Vietnam, so we have some challenges regarding to the maritime connectivity and blue economy. So recently, the government to develop the coastal in central of Vietnam is coastal city chain. It's a series of city connectivity by the roads along the coast, and in the north of Vietnam and in the central of Vietnam, and some the connectivity on the South China Sea with the ASEAN country and also with India. But and the island earthbound chain initiative combined with eco-tourism and conservation-based economy start thinking in the discussion now in process discussion of the expert in Vietnam. Is it the solution to reduce impact negative impact from the Chinese initiative for long term I said moment before. So also the Vietnam focus on the PSSA, it means particularly significant sea area identified under the IMO and the MARPOL Convention. You see in Vietnam, so it is the oil spill from the maritime in the South China Sea impact to Vietnam's coast, and the network of the seaport and the shipping route in Vietnam in the South China Sea. And also up to now, so PSSA establishment in the world, but the ASEAN and the Vietnam and the India have no PSSA up to now. And so recently we in Vietnam we have also identified some potential area for establishment of PSSA in Vietnam and in South China Sea in the future. So based on we have some suggestion regarding to the general policy divider. Besides the policy initiative to strengthen ASEAN in the maritime connectivity proposed by both Indian and ASEAN experts, we would like to emphasize on some policy driver to maintain maritime connectivity toward the blue economy, such as building human resources for the ASEAN to deploy it illegal death lodging area in the region marine waters. National ASEAN policy to support modernization for marine pollution monitoring in the seaport, update the policy and the law referenced by the international guideline and convention. For example, by ASEAN Convention cited and MACBON proposed a new technology policy to build a demonstration site about the blue seaport and the blue ship, so on. And design and establish the particularly sensitive sea area PSA under the MACBON Convention in ASEAN coastal and marine water and also in India. So India, a great maritime nation with historical tradition of the maritime trade across India and Pacific, therefore strengthening maritime connectivity to revive the ancient trade link in the new context of blue economy is a priority issue among not only India, also the ASEAN country. And in the context, very complicated context of the South China Sea and ASEAN, India and ASEAN have to identify a stronger strategic investment, maybe some foundation or based on this foundation, India, ASEAN should select some strategic seaport or island to invest in the infrastructure, logistic development, and toward blue growth. And also, we support some proposed initiative from ASEAN in the very more detail in the report of Dr. Prabi talk about published in English. So thank you very much for attention. And we try to follow a strong ASEAN in the maritime connectivity toward the blue economy. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nguyen, for your very informative presentation and also your recommendations. Now I will invite Dr. Prabirde to present his ideas on these issues, and you have like 18 to 20 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you very much for the invitation. In fact, me and my colleague, we have been working on maritime aspects of the India and ASEAN cooperation, and so we had a report done 2 or 3 years back on ASEAN-India maritime connectivity, which is available in the website, and then we are presently updating the report in view of the new emerging challenges which we face in the blue economic context or in the Indo-Pacific. So what I'm going to present is purely from the economist point of view, the trade, international trade, and then arguing that where India and 10 ASEAN member states, they can collaborate in terms of taking the agenda for deeper cooperation in the maritime sector, and with some action points that I present for the discussion audience, and also take it forward for the next dialogue. But before I come to the connectivity part, obviously, which is very important, that we need to talk about the volume of the trade, how it is happening. And so for India is concerned, this is just repetition for many of you, that India's global trade, we almost about 1/4 we do with the ASEAN countries and some of the East Asian countries, and that's we are doing on continuous basis for last, say, 20 years since we have this look-east policy, and which now called as act-east policy. It's a more aggressive, more action-oriented the look-east policy. And so obviously 25% is about the value-wise, not the volume, because volume is important when we talk about the shipping, port development, and other aspects of the maritime connectivity. So we'll come back to the volume one, but the value might be misleading. You know, we have a 1 trillion trade, but you don't know how much it carries the inflationary part. So we need to look at the data very carefully in that way. Plus, India is a part of RCEP, and RCEP being negotiated, and CPTPP deal already signed and going to be implemented. So, and India's active policy. This couple of these 2-3 new developments. Obviously, we need to look at the maritime infrastructure, maritime connectivity, and all aspects of the maritime corporations and differently than what it used to be, a decade back. And that's why ASEAN-India is a closer cooperation in maritime agenda is very important, because India's east coast and ASEAN west coast, for example, Myanmar, Thailand, all those down to Malaysia, and the northern side of the Indonesia, which is basically in the Bay of Bengal area, where about 200 ports are there. Not all are functional. So 200 ports are very important, some of them. So we need to look at the maritime design and maritime planning very closely and differently. 3 scenarios. If you look at what India's foreign